Hello, my name is Michael Swinford. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of the Veterans Voice. We have an excellent show for you today, and we'll be right back after this to meet our guests. Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. I'd like to introduce my guests. First of all, we have Mr. J.J. Jernigan and Mr. Willie Allen.
Yes.
I knew I was going to forget that. See, I told you out there a while ago I was going to forget it, and I sure enough did. Anyway, they were in Vietnam about the same time I was. Willie, won't you tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you was born? And
Well, originally I was born in Water Valley, Mississippi.
Water Valley.
But I've been here since I was 9 months old, here in Paducah. This is home.
How come you ended up in Paducah?
Well, all of my relatives were coming north. And my mom's brother came, she came, and here we are.
Here you are.
Yeah.
How about you, J.J.? Where were you born?
Yeah, I'm from Tennessee. I'd say my dad was a sharecropper, so I'll just give the county, Robertson County, or Sumner County, right in that area. But anyway, I come here in Paducah. I was said, hey, you going to college and you're going to get a degree. And I had a complete 4-year scholarship. I thought, no, I don't think so. And I wound up in Paducah, and I'm a mechanic. And I love what I used to do, and now I'm so lazy I don't do it.
Well, join the crowd. We're all in the same boat, I think.
I can't do anything.
I found out already we're all about the same age, so it's like a bunch of old men sitting around
We
trying
are.
to remember what they
Well,
said.
yeah.
We are.
But that and Robertson County, I was going. I went to a. It was not an integrated school. It was just all people of dark skin that went to school when I went to school, high school. And I just, like I said, I was a trumpet blower. I like to blow jazz and good stuff like that. And
Well, did Paducah kind of offer you a safe haven as opposed to being down in Tennessee?
Probably so, because I felt, and the people were real nice at the little vocational school, and they took me on like, hey, you are special. And they didn't say that, but they treated me that way. And I worked hard for different people, and one of the, M.W. Taylor was one of the wheels of the school, and of course H.C. Mathis was over all of vocational schools in Western Kentucky. And they took on to me, and that's how I got my first business started, was H.C. Mathis. I ran rock out of Reed Crestone, had dump trucks.
Willie, after you got to Paducah, Kentucky, how in the world did you think about going to Vietnam, or was it on the news, or did you pay any attention to it, or how'd you get to Vietnam?
I didn't exactly think about it. I was drafted.
You was drafted?
Yes, I was.
Me too.
So you didn't have any choice about the
Well, no, and I never thought I'd live to see the day that I'm happy about being drafted into the military. Yeah.
So where was your first duty station?
My first duty station would have been Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah, I trained at Fort Knox and went from Fort Knox to Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
So you guys were the FNGs?
Yeah, that's what we were.
Yeah.
Well, where were you stationed at in Vietnam?
I was up north with the 101st Airborne Division. I was on, well, being in artillery, you move around quite a bit. I was on probably 10 or 12 different fire bases while I was in Vietnam.
How about you, JJ? Where was your primary base at?
Well, I was with true lie, but my base was Hill 29, up by Tam Key, just a little bit past Tam Key. And as far as Vietnam, I'm kind of like my brother here. I never thought too much about. See, I'm a uranium enricher. I worked for the atomic energy here. I had just gotten started, and they gave me a pair of hedge trimmers, and I thought I was going to get to be a mechanic. and then the next thing I knew was they said, don't worry about the hedge trimmers. We're not going to get you deferred. We can do that for a training program we have coming. But my local board says, no, we can't let him go. He's part of the quota. So I wind up in Vietnam. And my basic, I started out at Fort Campbell, and my AIT was Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Well, you all was drafted and I volunteered.
Yeah, I was drafted.
See, that's how smart I was. I said, I'm going to join the Navy, because the Navy eats good, sleeps good, and I'll sit over there and throw shells over in that country called Vietnam, and I'll be safe all the time. I landed at Da Nang in '68. 19 months later, I was still there. And I said, they told me, turn in my blues and get some greens. And I said, what's a green? I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not a Marine, but they give me my greens and my weapons and all that. And 19 months later, I said, bye-bye. So I don't know, I wasn't very smart. That's probably the worst mistake I ever made.
That's kind of.
But I'm glad we all made it home. That's the
that's
most important
yep.
thing. A lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
You're right.
You mentioned that when you get in country, you change around. You don't know what you're gonna do and what you're gonna be.
That's
You
true.
think one thing, but a lot of people are not aware that they say that the Marines, they choose you, but Marines would come over to where the Army was inducting and put your name in a hat. Say, we need 2 Marines today. And that's how a few people ended up in the Marines.
I heard you could tell a Marine, but you can't tell them much.
That's right.
Is that right?
And, that's
Right.
Exactly.
Simplify and all that.
Yeah.
I tell you, the Marines saved my bottom a lot of times,
All
because
of
we
our
get pushed
bottom.
down the river or out of our base or whatever, and they'd go in and clean it out.
Oh, yeah.
I got up to Hue after the Battle of Hue, and the Marines had to take Hue back. And I got up there about 2 weeks after they finished mopping up, and it was a mess.
Is that
Wow.
68? You're
That
talking
was
about
68,
68
yeah.
Tet Offensive.
Ted,
Yeah.
Well, I got there right after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we might have crossed paths somewhere, you never know.
Probably.
Yeah, I was there in Tet Offensive,
Yeah.
the whole thing, I guess, because I got out in '69.
Yeah, well, there was one, the big one was 68, then they
Yeah.
had a little smaller one in 69. After having one in 68, they didn't have sense enough to realize, well, next year they're going to do it again.
When I first got there, I didn't know. Didn't know what was going on. But, Bill was saying that is, what I did was I had some opportunities. I was a blessed guy. Some of the guys with me, we had, like I said, I was an infantryman, a grunt, as I call myself, and I worked with mechanized tanks and personnel carriers. But we did the dirty work.
Those APCs, they call them.
Yeah, APC. And so I had a good friend, I didn't know it was, but he become one. He was a jockey in civilian life, and his name was Slidler. He loved the idea of getting to kill somebody or be a tunnel rat. So he picked me out. He said, you pretty gutty and you small. Hey, you need to be a tunnel rat like I am. I said, no, I don't think I want that. He said, well, I'll let you have my pistol when I go home. I said, maybe you need to just take the pistol on with you.
Yeah.
But that was rough enough. And then I didn't know it, but one guy come, I thought he was really messed up. He was a Southerner. He had real dark hair, and he burst it back. He said to me, why are you a private, first class, and everybody else is specialty fours? And I said, I don't know. I don't even care. He said, well, I'm going to find out. I thought, like, well, that's a bunch of crap. The next day, he come to me and said, put your specialty four patch on, because your order's up at the little oily room that we had on that hill, He said, and that sergeant got injured, so he never sent the papers all in. So then about a week later, he said to me, in the morning when we leave out and clear this field over here, and you see that dust settle, I want you to go and talk to the colonel. I thought immediately, I said, now I just made Spec 4, now they finna bust me back to a private. So I went up there, and when I was on my way, he said, get you some new fatigues and boots so you look presentable. And so I did that, and I'm thinking, like, I need to go with my buddies. He goes, no, you're not going with your buddy today. You staying here because they're responsible for the sales, not you. You're not responsible for them. So when I started up there, this big, tall guy met me and stuck his hand out and said, hey, Sergeant Jernigan, we're glad to have you in headquarters troop. I said, I'm not Sergeant Jernigan, I'm Special Jernigan. He said, well, you're Sergeant Jernigan now because you're fitting to command the colonel's vehicle. I'm like, what the? I didn't think it was very cool at all myself, but that's what they did. And then the last couple of months, I wasn't in pure action like I was
I'd
before.
make sure that colonel had them black bars instead of them gold bars, because they could, VC could spot them 100 miles away. And they took them off like that too.
And
they
see, I
finally
was-
figured out
yeah.
that not to wear the
It took
shiny
us several
stuff.
years to figure that out.
It did. A lot of people died because
Yeah.
they were
Big
so
yellow
stuck.
stripe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
I've heard some things said about that. We won't go into.
No, don't do that.
We won't go there on this
No.
day.
No.
But tell me something. When you left Paducah and you got in the military, was there any discrimination? I mean, did they hold it against you, or to keep you down, or oppress you in any way?
Actually, no. But then again, there's nowhere you can go and forget you're black.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wasn't outright, you know. But I mean, I saw a lot of more or less separation.
Yeah.
A lot of the whites, they had their thing they done. A lot of the blacks had what they did.
Can you still do the dap?
I was gonna bring that up to you. You know, I was in the Fire Direction Center in artillery, which, you know, I caught a lot of stuff being a brother in the
Yeah.
Fire Direction Center because it was mostly white guys.
Yeah.
But when we would be off duty, if there's any such thing in Vietnam, we, you know, when we walk around the fire base, and if I run across some brothers, you know, well, we had to give the dap. That's the handshake, you know. But I always felt awkward about that. And I mentioned it to a brother at one of the reunions that, you know, but now the white guy, he couldn't do that.
No.
No. White guy don't.
I kept hitting myself in the head.
Yeah.
Well, I want to tell you a little story real quick. A black man saved my life. Me and him would stand out in front of a bunker, and we had a 5-second warning before the rockets come in. They'd pick them up on radar and hit the alarm button, and the sirens would start squalling. So you had 5 seconds time that thing started, and you could actually hear it make contact. When it made a contact, get ready to start, you could hear that contact. That's how in tune you were with these.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And anyway, me and him would stand out in front of a bunker watching the rockets and listening to them wherever they was going. And he had a bad feeling about it. He didn't feel right about it. And he just literally pushed me so hard. And I hit the back of the bunker and fell down. And I started to get up and go after him. I thought he'd done it on purpose. And you know, that young man got killed, saved my life. And
Wow.
I wrote about it in that book I'm going to send you.
Okay, yeah, I definitely want to see
Called Me
that.
and Billy Joe.
Yeah.
And I went and visited his mama down in Evergreen, Alabama. And he showing her, and he stood there and knowing something bad was going to happen, but he took care of me, and I got to live with that the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I told him I would, you know. We talked on many occasions. We didn't associate too much with other people, but we kind of was buddies. He kind of took care of me, and I kind of took care of him. And
That's cool.
you never forget friends like
Oh, no.
that.
Nope.
I mean, they're not friends, they're buddies.
That's
you
right.
know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now what you were saying, that's what I used to do is for this, again, I used to, and this was illegal as far as I know, I had to pull ambush at night sometime by myself way out in the jungle. And what they would do, they would shoot artillery rounds around me all night, which I thought, why are you telling the enemy where I am?
Maybe they know something you didn't know.
So, but anyway, I actually had to do that because, see, there was only 3 grunts, Slidler, myself, and a guy, we called him Corporal. He had 2 stripes, and he had been busted. I didn't know that for a while, but that's what happened. But that's what they would do, and then what would happen, I would be up all the day before, I'd be up all night, and then I'd be up all day the next day. And then people around here said, JJ, why do you work 2 and 3 days and nights and you don't go home to sleep? excuse the expression, hell, I was used to it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I did in Asia. And
I slept in the daytime. I couldn't sleep at night.
I could sleep some, but that's just what happened, and that's part of it, way I took it.
Well, you stay on an adrenaline rush for a year. I stayed 19 months because the Marines were doing 18. I had to do one more than the Marines, just to show them. But
Yeah. Well, what you just said, that's what we did. We used to go up from Hill 29 and Tam Key. We go up north, and we stop at this place, and that's where a lot of Marines were, or several, and we get water. It probably wasn't worth a dime, but it was better than just drinking, because I used to drink water out of I'd push the slime back. I'd dip my bucket in real fast, snatch it out before the slime came
you
back.
still living.
Yeah, and I'm still. And the reason I did that was the guy corporal, he used to collect ears. So he had collected about 3 or 4 ears from Papa's son and Mama's son, and his hands were real bloody, and he stuck it in my drinking water. I'm like, I can't drink that. So that's what I did. And what was in those ponds was the human waste and the buffalo waste where they fertilized the rice. And that's what I was drinking.
Do you know in Vietnam today, you can take the train from Da Nang to Hue, and alongside the railroad track there's a little pond about 4 or 5 feet across, and it gurgles. It just like lye in water. How it gurgles up, and it's nothing but Agent Orange where they dumped it. They don't have a barrier around it. They got a little piece of tape looking stuff, but they're just bubbling up right side the railroad track. And you know, it'll be 100 years before they can grow anything where the Agent Orange hit.
Hey, man, as a matter of fact, what you just said, that I'm about the only thing I can afford. I got this old cap. My lady friend, she had a little store named Military, etc. So I got this cap. I liked it. But I have some Agent Orange caps, because what happened, what you just said there, that I can remember artillery shooting, and Bill can explain this probably, I never did understand. They had, after the big round hit, it exploded and several little rounds come out. And they did not go off. So what they took us and did, when we was out in the field, we went and we had to pick up every one of them little rounds now. And there'd been Agent Orange and whatever around there.
Yeah.
And so we were out there picking up these bullets and stacking them, and I'm thinking, like, I was young and crazy, like, man, I'll be glad we get through with this mess so we can go eat.
Willie, did you ever run into any flechettes?
Yes, sir. That's in the beehive, right?
They mean, yeah, they in the beehive.
That is.
And they will
for
tear
close
your butt
contact.
up.
Is that, yeah.
Call them flechettes. They got 500 of them going this way, 500 flip this way. When it goes off, it's like a shotgun shell.
Okay.
It'll just open up a path
That's
for you.
right.
And anybody's in the way of them, they just get cut to
It goes
pieces.
through trees and everything.
Yeah.
That's what we were picking up.
And things was rough.
Now, all these years, you explained that. I could have had you explain it before, but yeah, we went out there, and I was thinking, man, this is crazy, picking up this stuff that didn't explode. We had one man, I have to say this, we called him Chief. He wasn't in my platoon, but he was with the Cal, Mary Cal. And everybody liked Chief. And Chief, when he got back to the base camp, he disappeared. So evidently he went and chased Mama's son them or something, I don't know. But anyway, he told me one day, they said we needed a tank driver. I said, I can drive it. They said, you're not a tanker. I said, my dad was a farmer. He had us driving tractors and dozers and all kinds of stuff. I can drive it. They said, we'll get on there and try it. So I could. So Chief was up here, and he cued in on me and said, hey, JJ, said, I need you to do me a favor. I said, what did he said? Do a half right. So I whipped half right. He let me run a little while. He said, okay, now go back half left. I went back half left. I keyed up. I said, hey, Chief, what in the world am I doing? He said, I just took you around a ammo field. He said, where you would have got blowed up and me too. I said, how'd you know that? He said, I don't know. and all them guys knew that we called him Chief. My grandmother was Cherokee. And my grandfather on my dad's side was Caucasian and Cherokee. But this guy had a sense. He would be riding, and I'd be driving that old tank, and we'd go across this big stream. I'd say, whoa, we better minesweep this. He said, all right, it's okay, go on. I said, wait, man, you're going to get me killed. He said, look, I'm up here, I'm going to get killed too. Just do what I say. He already knew what was there.
Yeah.
That Indian did. They couldn't mess with him. Nobody in the whole camp could mess with that guy.
It's kind of like World War II when they had the Navajo and the Code Talkers.
Yeah.
There were a lot of Indians in Vietnam too. They were scouts, most of them.
Yeah.
And they'd take a little Vietnamese scout with them and try to teach them what they knew. I don't think they was very
They didn't.
successful.
No, because that guy there, just like I said, he could do stuff that nobody else
Well,
could
he
do.
was in tune with nature. You know, nature was one, the Great Spirit was God, and he believed in that Great Spirit, and he lived his life accordingly.
Yeah.
Most Indians wasn't bad, regardless of what
No,
you see on the
no,
cowboy
no.
movies.
Oh,
You know, they was hurt worse than black people really when you get down to it.
Only good Indian is a deity.
That's what they used to
That's
say.
what we
Yeah.
were taught.
That's what, I've heard that.
Well, I am glad you made it back.
Man,
We lost so many people for no reason at all, and
That's it.
I think it's up to us to spread the word, so to speak, tell about the exploits that they did that didn't get recognized. And we'll have to do another show one of these days because we can go back a long way. You've heard of China Beach, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, there's a big old casino sitting on China Beach today.
Really?
High-rise motels and hotels.
Wow.
And all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just remarkable. I'll get your address and I'll send you some pictures.
Okay. Do you think you'll ever go back?
Well, I've been back 5 times, and the next one would be the last one. I think I wouldn't make it back because the last time I went, I had 3 heart attacks when I got
oh,
back.
man.
It's an 18-hour flight.
Oh, yeah.
That's
and
a lot
I'm
of
too
flying.
old.
And speaking of the flying, we were flying. I was an old country boy, never been on an airplane in my life until I got my stomach kind of on the going over there. And then when I was coming back, no big deal. I was glad to want to get home back. I called the world. Bill should know it. I'm
The big
going to the
PX.
world.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we were flying, and I saw one of the guys, and I said, hey man, that sun sure is pretty, but why is it dark on my side of the plane? He come over, he said, well, I'll be damned. We were splitting night and day.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what happened. And when I've told, like my lady friend right now and my ex that divorced, I try to tell them, they couldn't relate to that. I mean, like, oh, JJ, you telling a big tale. I said, nope, this actually happened. And when I got to Washington and got ready to get off, they did us like they did cattle. They had put up a human fence, and we had to stay inside that fence. But some of the other guys I know, they even got worse. They got spit on and all kind of stuff, called names and all.
Well, I tell you, when we left Vietnam, everybody was glad to be leaving. I remember turning around, looking out the plane window, and I thought, we was 10,000 feet up at that point. I thought how beautiful that country is, how beautiful it is, and knowing 10,000 feet below you, there's things going on
Yes.
that you don't even want to think about.
Nope, you don't want to think about.
You know, and when I first went back in '93, you couldn't go back. They told me in Bangkok, they said, we can't let you, it's a closed country. So I said, well, I'm on a mission, I want to go. And I smuggled in some Bibles and tracts with me. And I went back every day for 5 days, and finally they got tired of fooling with me. They said, we'll give you a visa, just quit bugging us. I got to tell one quick story. I don't want to take over your show, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, no.
You know.
But about the 3rd or 4th trip back, they gave me a piece of paper when I come into the country. And then when I left the country, I was supposed to give them back that piece of paper. Well, there was a piece of paper got thrown around and taken out with the trash. So I got to the airport and they said, we can't let you leave because you don't have that paper. So I sat myself down and started thinking, Bill Clinton was about to lift the embargo for Vietnam. I said, Bill Clinton's a personal friend of mine, and if you don't let me go, he won't lift the embargo. I said, he's a good buddy of mine. Well, they didn't know more.
Of course they didn't.
So they bought it and they put me on the plane. I got out of there, and as soon as I got in there, I'm thinking, I got away with something.
Good thinking.
And when I got home, I swear this is the truth, I got home that night, I got a call from Vietnam saying Bill Clinton just lifted the embargo. True story.
Wow.
True story.
Isn't that something?
It's a God thing. I'm not that good, let me tell you.
Man.
Biggest bluff of my life, and it worked.
And it worked.
It worked, yeah.
That's all right. That's what you want.
That's what you want, yeah.
Yeah,
You want,
that's
it don't
it.
matter how you get there, as long as you go down the road and get there.
Yeah, that's right. You got to do it one way or the other.
Do y'all ever think about going back?
Now, I did because of Dr. Williams. We used to talk and see Hurricane Carter. He was telling me, because he showed me where he stayed in prison so long. And Dr. Williams, his friend, made the movie. So I tried to contact Hurricane because I was hoping maybe once I got my little book together, that was a long time ago. But he said, yeah, I still know that man, but he's 90-some years old. I went like, whoop, into the movie.
Reuben is 90-something years old?
Yeah, that's what Dr. Williams told me. He said I think JJ's about 90-some years old. I said, what? And not the man that helped get him out of there.
Yeah. I wrote him a letter one time when I was in Vietnam, actually. I think it was, yeah.
I wrote one.
You want to plug your book? You was talking about your book. Where is it on sale anywhere?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. What's the name of it?
Just a Sharecropper's Son.
Just a Sharecropper's Son.
As a matter of fact, I brought one for you, and I think it's in my truck. Knowing me, I may have thrown it out.
Well, I look forward to getting it either way, and I'll send you some. And I want to thank you guys for coming on today and sharing some memories with me. And let's do it again sometime.
Sounds.
We get too old and forgetful. We won't know who each other are.
I'm already there.
Oh, no, you younger than I am. Remember that.
That mileage counts up pretty fast.
Oh, it does. And if you're a Vietnam veteran, you got a lot of strikes against you.
Yes, a lot.
You know, there's a lot of things can hurt you and kill you. But I'm glad to see y'all still upright, and pray to God that you be just live an old-timey life, and you, about 95, you pack it in.
Man, I hope I make it that far.
I hope you do too.
My mom made it to about 85, 87, I can't remember that. But my uncle, which was her brother, he made it to be 90-something. And my auntie
Well,
was...
you in good shape then. I believe you're going to make it.
Yeah,
Don't you, Willie?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank y'all for coming today, and we're going to wrap it up here. And I do want you to come back sometime, and we'll talk some more, because I believe we got a lot of stories to talk about.
Yes.
And I wish you the very best in whatever you decide to do. And I thank you very much for your time and your stories, because I can relate to some of them. We've been there, and that makes us brothers. No matter what color we are or what our age is, we've been there, and we're brothers.
Yep.
All righty, thank you.
Like it or don't like it, that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Yep.